Hey everyone, it's Call Me Adam, and we are here live at NewFest, New York City's premier LGBT film festival. We're here providing red carpet coverage for the New York City premiere of Del Shore's A Very Sordid Wedding.
Hey everybody, it's Adam, live and in person for you. Hey everybody, it's Adam, wonder who he'll interview. CallMeAdam.com.
The film takes place in 2015 during marriage equality, right after marriage equality.
Right after the
took place.
Supreme Court decision,
Yes.
yes.
So now, how do you feel the film could help educate people today with everything going on in the world?
Well, I mean, what we saw was what a lot of people predicted was a backlash, especially from states like Texas, where I come from, and so that is addressed in the movie. And so I'm hoping, they always say, "Oh, Del, you preach to the choir," and sometimes I say, you know what, the choir needs a good message every now and then. But I've already seen with this movie that people are taking it to some of their bigoted relatives, and there have been a couple of changed hearts that have written me already.
Oh my God, that's
so if
terrific.
that happens, that's great.
If LaVonda had the chance to confront Trump, what would she say to him?
I would look my best, because you know he won't respond
Right.
if you don't look your best. He's an asshole. But I would say, tell me what your innermost thoughts are about taking away and rolling back any kind of protection for the LGBT community and women and students, and how can you appoint people in your cabinet? I would never say sir, though. How can you appoint people in your cabinet that so totally represent what's wrong with this country? And then he would have already turned and left before I would have gotten it out, you know?
If Sordid Lives were on the people's couch and you were watching it, what would you be saying about it?
Oh my gosh, I would have so much relating to the craziness of that Southern family. I mean, I was born in Waco, Texas, grew up in Houston, and the first time I ever watched Sordid Lives, somebody had brought me and said, you need to see this movie. It's possible I was a little high, and the only character I related to was Juanita the Barfly talking nonsense. But the next time I saw it, I was like, I know these people. So when I finally met Del, it was such an amazing experience as an actor to start to work with him, and then as a producer to become his producing partner. And so here we are after having produced the series, to be able to produce this final chapter of the Sordid franchise is really exciting for me personally and professionally.
You also have a one-man show dedicated to Barbra Streisand.
I do.
So, in your best Barbra impression, if Barbra Streisand were to give a quote about this film, what would she say?
Okay, she would probably say something like, I have a vast appreciation for the theater, but I'm not really in touch with small-town America coming from Brooklyn, so I can appreciate what they do, and it's very moving and comedic, but, it's really not my style. That's probably what she would say.
That is the most awesome thing in the world. I love it. This whole Sordid Lives franchise is a cult favorite amongst everybody. What do you feel makes a great cult movie, cult following? Because you have quite a cult following yourself.
Well, I think that the movies that really, last as cult films are actually probably a little more complex than they seem on the surface. That they're outrageous, and yet there's at the core a certain kind of heart or universality that kind of, I don't know what to say, just gives it a gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not just silliness. And I think that's definitely true of Del Shore's work.
Caroline Rhea is very good friends with Whoopi, and she introduced Whoopi to the series. And so one day I get a telephone call, and Caroline said, someone wants to talk to you. And this voice comes on, hey, Del, it's Whoopi. How'd you get so fucked up, baby? And I said, well, my daddy was a Southern Baptist preacher. She said, well, that's all you've got to say. So she told me she wanted to work with me, and I actually wrote her into the second season. She was Nolita's roommate. When the series went down, it didn't happen, and then years later, she's having lunch with Whoopi, and she says, Del's written a new movie, a sequel to Sordid Lives, and Whoopi goes, oh, am I in it? Or I'm in it, right? And she goes, yes, you are. And then I call him and I go, you have to write Whoopi apart. I lied. I said you're in the movie.
But I sort of thought, as the pessimistic producer, Whoopi's never going to make it. You know, she's famous, she's doing The View, all of this stuff. So we put together the calendar, and I sent it to her team and said, we'd like to shoot the wedding on this particular date. And Tom, the artist who runs her company, said, I'm so sorry, but she's not available that day. And I said, well, is she available at any point in these 12 days? And he said, yes. She's available this one Friday night from 6 p.m. to midnight. And I said, we'll take it. Then Whoopi doesn't fly. So she got in her bus here in New York after shooting The View on a Thursday at 12:30 and drove 27 hours to arrive in our base camp in Winnipeg on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Dell and I stood in the parking lot and made Caroline get on the bus. Like, she's your friend. Go make sure it's okay. And we got on the bus and she said, I have no idea where I am, but I'm so glad to be here. And I like telling this next part because, you know, in the world of independent filmmaking, we've worked with some absolutely brilliant, genius performers. And this is sort of a testament to why. Because Dell said, Whoopi, you've been such an ally to the community. Thank you that all that you've done for us. You get it. It's a sermon. Feel free to make it your own. Do whatever you want with it. And she said to him, well, the words that you wrote are rather brilliant. How about I just say those?
Just ask anybody who's had 'em. Adam lives for the business of show. Call me Adam.com.